I'm sorry, my video program for free only allows you to make a certain time video, and so it cut out. So here's spring 20 fine arts, and I can change that with each thing. Here's my standards, and I tell the students to ignore it so that we know what I'm trying to cover. Some people put their standards. Fine arts has some crazy standards, y'all. I love teaching fine arts. Sometimes they're very basic. Look, produce works of art that describe and connect with other things. I mean, like, that's crazy. But I can switch it up. Some people like to put the GLE next to the individual questions. You do you. Always when we're making a Google form, you have to have a question that says, what is your name? Because if not, they do the whole test and you have no idea who's the test for. And I always like to put, did you study, just to see. And I tell them, I don't care, be honest. Because, you know, if they didn't study and they made an F, that's a great correlation for them to make. And if they say they didn't study and they all say they didn't study and they made a really good grade, maybe I need to revamp my test. Is it at the level of expectations? Is it rigorous enough? So here we see some simple little multiple choice vocabulary to start them off right here. And again, fine arts. The purpose of a fine arts class is it's a lot of recall. It's a very beginning class. We're not supposed to be mastering anything. If you look at the verbiage on all the GLEs, it is at the lowest level in the depth of knowledge wheel, because it is a survey course. It's to prepare you to decide which art class you would like in college. That's it. And it's not a in-depth class compared to government, U.S. history, and all the other ones. So as we go through and look, you can kind of see. I have a source. I always have a source. And so it's 2 parts. I'm like, is this art? So one of the things we're trying to accomplish in chapter 1 of this test is for them to have some criteria to decide if something is art. And different pictures I use. Sometimes I put a picture of a toenail. And it's hilarious because, you know, in essence, the photograph itself is art, but they have certain criteria that I could apply. So they have to answer the question using the criteria. And so you see right here, I have a comic strip / political cartoon, the closest thing we can get to political cartoons in fine arts, and have them to answer a question. But I want to show you guys, if you never used a Google form, the response tab. And here it makes a spreadsheet. And so this is why it's awesome. So I have all their email addresses right here. And so if I have a student with the same initials, I then have to look up their ID number if I don't have them write their name right here. So it's important. So here you can see the grades. And here's this. And then you can go down and it grades it for you, depending on how you set it up. But this is nice, and you can save this, and you can print this out for your grade book. And your records, etc. So we really like, and this is how you can crunch your data. It shows me the average grade is a 63, and it shows me my range in points, and it shows me if I can go individually to the questions, and it shows me which question they epically just did a horrible one, and I can go back and see if the question's poorly written, if I did something, if I forgot to teach it that block. Because, you know, like, maybe it was a fire drill and we walked out, and maybe I thought I taught this concept to all blocks and maybe I didn't, etc., etc. So it kind of gives me some understanding. I can look at the individual, and this is how I grade the individual students' constructive response. I can go down all the way to their stuff and read it and decide how many points they get, etc. So that's Google Forms, and it's awesome. And after you establish how to use Google Classroom, that would be the next thing I say for you to go. Now, if you want to be a guru and you don't want to wait for the tutorials coming from the district, literally go to YouTube and type in how to use whatever Google thing for teachers. Make sure you put for teachers, because then it's going to give you the idea of how to use it in an education format, which is good. This is calendars, and you can set up, if you haven't messed with the calendars too much, like I use my iPhone, it talks to me, it tells me everything, but you can make multiple calendars, and you can put those calendars on your website, and it could be for clubs. So let's say I'm in charge of this club called the Diversity Club. It's a club that I made 2 years after working at Westgate, because I saw a big need of a club that wasn't academic or sports aligned. So I can make a diversity calendar when diversity meets. Then I can make a student council calendar. I can make a social studies department calendar. I can have all these different calendars that only talk about those specific things, or I can have my ultimate calendar like I have on my iPhone that has everything on there at one time. There's different reasons for people using different things. Google Meets is what we've been using through virtual. Google Drive, of course, you know that saves all of your stuff. Google Hangout is kind of like Google Meet, except for you can kind of chat along the way. It's blocked sometimes. It depends on when you're using it. I have this thing called admin. Not all people have that. I can change passwords for students to be able to get on the Chromebook. So you guys, if your student forgets what their password is, they come back from a break, etc., you just can call my class. I don't care if you interrupt me. I really, really don't. And I can change that for you. I am never one of these people that I'm all over the place. I'm good. I'm organized chaos in the best possible way. So if a student's ADD or ADHD, they love being in my class because we are having some movement. We all over the place. And so I understand that you can't move forward in your lesson if your students aren't all working. So feel free to call me on the intercom, or even write a pass for the kid to come straight to me, and I can help that kid get their password, because my students will be working and my job is to monitor and facilitate. So I should be able to take 2 seconds and do that, or else I'm not very good teacher. I don't have good classroom management if I can't. So feel free to come and bother me whenever you can. If you have not used Google Keep, I absolutely love it. I have the app on my phone. It lets you make post-it notes with check boxes. You see this, my daughter, her dance practice videos right here that she has to use. That's the staff appreciation we had. My daughter's having a birthday party and they having play date hours because of COVID. Right there you see. But basically it's all my different things I have to do. And it's nice. It's your to-do list virtually that you can carry with you everywhere. You can access at school, on your phone, and never have to lose a sheet of paper. So just hopefully this helps you. Feel free to call me with any questions. But thank you and good luck.